Now, the suspicions that China is luring African countries into a debt trap to then assume control of vital assets if countries default on their loan agreements is gaining traction. According to a report by the authoritative journal Africa Confidential, Zambia is in talks to cede control of its national power grid to China as compensation for an expected loan repayment default. Joining us to discuss the issue is political analyst Mandla Machika. Mandla, thanks so much for your time. I mean, what do you make of what is going on with the Chinese and Zambia's electricity company?
All right, thanks. Firstly, good day and thanks for having me. Yes, getting straight to it, while there's been rumors circulating that China is in some way colonizing Africa and exploiting Africa for various reasons possible, as we see with ZESCO, which is the country's biggest national asset. I mean, you can imagine if you're providing electricity for over 80% of the population of that country. We're speaking large numbers, and there's a lot at stake with this. So, furthermore, now the major issue at hand is that should this happen, what is it at stake for the Zambian authorities as a whole? We speak of job issues, we speak of Chinese personnel, we speak of various other possibilities such as the Chinese looking even further, branching further into the African market, so to say. So this is just another platform for the Chinese to exercise and dominate their power.
I mean, in all fairness, it's like you and I, if we go to a bank and we loan some money because we want to buy a car, a house, whatever, we sign the terms and conditions of that loan, and we know that if we don't make good on that loan payment, the bank has the right to take its assets back. Chinese did the same. Zambia went to the Chinese, asked for money. Now they've defaulted. Is China supposed to just sit back? Because they're also at a loss here. They have to
you know, this is another typical sad story of the fisherman throwing in the bait and the fish finding it too hard to resist. Then again, we may argue that were the Chinese aware in some way or another that Zambia weren't going to be able to pay it back. I mean, as you could imagine, we're speaking of a country here that's rated number 85 out of a total of 190 countries, according to the ease of doing business from the World Bank. So one may also argue that, but were the Chinese actually right enough to actually give them the loan, knowing very well that they're still a small and developing economy? So maybe by then they should have rather restricted or maybe just limited the loans in such a way that they can actually get the money back in smaller portions, so to say, and build up from that.
Sure. I mean, so everybody's looking at this, particularly here in South Africa, and thinking, oh boy, what is the risk that Eskom could follow suit and the Chinese could do the same? Because we do know Eskom's balance sheet is not healthy at all.
Yes, and that's another issue of concern. But however, with reference to ZESCO in Zambia, that would be a decision that would need to be vetted upon by the cabinet and the various ministers along with that. So by far and large, you would argue, is South Africa also heading for the same thing? Huge possibility, yes, very much so.
So basically you're saying that in doing relations with the Chinese, African governments need to be very careful, because if ZESCO does actually get taken back, this could set quite a big precedent.
True. I mean, look, for instance, we see that in most African nations, the problem is not with minerals or resources and the works. The major problem with African states is infrastructural development. We lack infrastructural development, which is why it's so easier for investors from outside to just come and set up firms regarding the mining industry, automotive industry, and so forth. So one of the compelling issues that we need to look at as a country and as continent moving forward is to rather look within the continent. Investors within the continent come together. Let's see what all these major economies within the continent can fork out, and then we take it from there.
Well, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for your time. That, of course, was political analyst Mandla Machika.